My mom was married to another guy before my dad and she has a daughter Elizabeth from that marriage. They divorced when Elizabeth was 2 and she met my dad a year later. My mom's ex-husband was pretty bitter about it and for years they thought it wasn't impacting Elizabeth and he wasn't bringing her into his anger about mom moving on. They found out the truth when mom was pregnant with me. Elizabeth started saying all kinds of shit about my dad and me and she told mom she wanted her to lose the baby. She told my mom that her and her dad would say prayers for my dad and me to die and for her to be a family with them again. She also confessed to lying to the neighbor about stuff my dad said. They apparently knew the neighbor had been weird with them for a while but had no idea why. She was also lying in school and to her friends' parents about my dad being super strict and mean and not letting her do a bunch of stuff. I know my mom ended up winning full custody by the time I was 1 and her ex was ordered to take parenting classes and therapy. The memories I have of Elizabeth living with us are not pleasant. She always wished me and dad dead and I remember her wishing other disturbing things on us. She told me she hated me and that I was a fuck up on mom's part. She said my dad was a bed warmer who didn't get that he was supposed to leave. I didn't really know what a lot of stuff meant at the time. But it became clearer with age. She even tore up photos around the house to cut dad and me out. My parents had her in therapy. I remember she used to go a few times a week. Never worked. Then when she was 14-15 she went to live with her dad after she got to decide. My mom did everything to try and keep helping Elizabeth even though she was at her dad's and Elizabeth was supposed to keep going to therapy. Elizabeth told mom she had to choose between her and us. Mom told her she wanted us all in her life and Elizabeth said she'd rather watch the 2 of us die. Last time I saw Elizabeth was at my high school graduation. Her husband's sister or brother was graduating too. She was still as hateful as ever. I haven't seen her since but my dad saw her twice and she was as cruel to him then as ever. But my mom hasn't given up that she'll realize what her dad did and that we're not to blame for them not all being a family and that dad and I aren't as bad as her dad made her think. Elizabeth has started talking to our mutual grandparents again and now my mom and grandparents want to trick Elizabeth into being at my wedding to show her she can be around us. Mom said it would be a test to see if she can be civil at least and I said no way, that my wedding is not the time or place for that and none of them can come if they insist on trying that. Mom begged me to reconsider so we could have Elizabeth back. I told her I never had her in the first place to get her back and I'm not letting her daughter ruin my wedding. Like and subscribe for more stories.